A 2D side-scrolling platformer called Earthworm Jim was created by Doug TenNapel and Shawnee Entertainment. There were 2 seasons of an animated series produced by Universal Cartoon Studios, and it was broadcasted on Kids WB in 1995. An earlier test animation was created with a slightly different Jim design. Very few sources have come forward over the years to provide information about the test animation's development, making information on it pretty rare. In June of 2018, the Twitter user OddTwit shared a magazine scan with screenshots from the test along with the caption, "Finally found it, look at these really creepy screen caps for the Earthworm Jim cartoon test. I'm curious what the whole thing looked like and why did they make him so fat?" No information has been provided about the magazine, and it is currently unknown from which publication it originates from. Although sources have identified the publication as possibly coming from Electronic Gaming Monthly, the publication's year and month are currently unknown as well. The animation test, according to a user in the same Twitter thread, lasted just a minute and was broadcast on the television network TCC. It was unclear whether or not this claim was true because there were no other sources to back it up, until finally on August 23, 2022, YouTube user GoobaLol uploaded a very low quality version of the animation test to his channel, also confirming that this animation test was indeed 1 minute long. Boo-Berry is a blueberry flavored cereal with blueberry flavored marshmallows which was released in 1973 by General Mills. In the line of monster cereals, it is the 3rd cereal. A commercial was created the same year to help advertise the cereal. The cereal is still produced today, although only during the fall season along with Count Chocula and Frankenberry. Like in most commercials with the pair, Frankenberry and Count Chocula argue about which cereal is the best until the front door bell rings and they both decide to open it. They were greeted by a ghost named Boo-Berry, who unintentionally startled the two. He then introduces himself as their new neighbor and says that he was there to borrow some milk. Then he explains who he is and describes the Boo-Berry cereal. Boo is also tied up with chains by Count Chocula and Frankenberry, who then throw him out of their house while arguing over who gets the super sweet cereal. Then Boo-Berry returns to their home to inform us that Boo-Berry is outside, which causes Frankenberry and Count Chocula to flee in terror through the front door. Only the 30-second commercial was available in its entirety online for a long time. The 30-second version replaces some of the dialogue with animation, and it was not until July 28, 2022 that the 1-minute version of the advertisement was discovered in its entirety. Art James hosted the game show Blank Check, which ran on NBC from January 6th until July 4th of 1975. James and the rest of the show's staff did not have good memories of the format, with some referring to the game as Blank Mine and the majority calling it Dumb Luck and a guessing game. It would be Barry's last work before he collaborated once more with Dan Enright a year later after the show's conclusion. 2 pilots, which were mostly never seen in public, were recorded on October 4th, 1974 before it debuted in January 1975. The format of the pilots remained virtually unchanged. In the first pilot, Jack Champion made his first appearance. He later starred in several game show pilots including Press Your Luck, Card Sharks, Second Chance, and Jeopardy! The second pilot also included a young Mark Summers, who was now well known as the host of Unwrapped on the Food Network and Double Dare on Nickelodeon. The show's cancellation and the fact that it hasn't been broadcast since then have both contributed to the pilot's rapid obscurity. The first pilot has been circulating in recent years and was allegedly on YouTube for a brief period of time before disappearing. The US Game Show Pilot Lite website also has images of the pilot. And then finally, the first pilot was uploaded to Dailymotion on August 26, 2022, thanks to user Chuck D's Game Show Cavalcade. There is no information about the second pilot other than the fact that per the US Game Show Pilot Lite website, it is stored at the UCLA Film and Television Archive but cannot be viewed. The second pilot is only represented by a single image which Summers posted on Facebook in November 2021. Jiwook Kim produced the film short Oh Dear in 2004 during her 3rd year at CalArts. Its most notable appearance was in 2005 at the Nicktoons Film Festival, which is also where most people say they first saw the short. This is supported by a Nicktoons bumper that features the only currently accessible portion of the short. According to the DVD listing for the Nicktoons Film Festival, the short's current summary was as follows. While an old lady watches TV, her cat witnesses the odd goings-on in the living room. Thankfully, the short is listed as having been saved in the library and was first revealed to the public in 2004 at a CalArts character animation exhibition. Additionally, the short was screened at the Nicktoons Nicktoon Film Festival. The runtime of the short is listed on the Screening 6 DVD cover. According to what is left of Jiwook Kim's student page, CalArts may have hosted a version of the short for a while, or at least additional stills. This website still lists Oh Dear as one of her movies, but the Wayback Machine does not have access to it. It was aired on Nicktoons Network as part of a promotional competition where viewers could cast their votes online, because it debuted at the 2005 Nicktoons Festival. These cartoons would have aired from Saturday, August 26th through Wednesday, August 30th, 2006. Reddit user The Cam Slam posted about the short in r/Lost Media on June 19th, 2022. Then, only 11 days later on June 30th, 2022, Reddit user Maddie Zerope uploaded the short in its entirety to both Reddit and archive.org. According to his Reddit, it was found on a recording of the episode during the film festival. A long-running campaign called Fire Kills was created to inform people about fire safety. They have produced a variety of public service announcements over the years, including the infamous Make Your Plan, Get Out Alive spot. This particular campaign, known as Night Vision, which debuted in 2002, gained notoriety for its gloomy tone. In this video, a number of people are placed in upsetting circumstances when a fire breaks out in their homes. The video generated some criticism from the general public due to its subject matter, particularly from parents whose children were terrified. The entire publicly accessible campaign follows 3 distinct incidents involving a small number of people involved in a house fire: a pair of panicked siblings in their bedroom, an elderly woman pleading for assistance by banging on her front door, and a student hurt by a bicycle left in the hallway. Each of the segments has a tagline that instructs the audience on what to do in the event of a home fire. There were also shorter ads that included an expanded version of each of the 3 segments in addition to the longer one. For these commercials, they added more footage and dialogue along with figures on the number of people who died in house fires. The extended takes of the segments seen in the full advertisement are allegedly harder to find online, despite the fact that the whole full advertisement is readily available online. Also, 2 of the shorter spots with slightly different scenes of the siblings and the student were accessible on YouTube before better quality rips of the commercials were discovered. The kids variant and the student variant, and for the first time the old lady variant, were all finally uploaded in higher quality on July 28, 2022 by the PSA YouTube channel Loogie Beloogie. Dexter Jin, the PIF's art director, and David Jennings, its copywriter, provided Loogie with the 2 better versions and the missing variant. Additionally, there have been rumors that a different version of the entire advertisement exists, with red text in place of white and a much less clear message near the end. Given that both components were used for the shorter PIFs and given that the campaign led to public complaints, it is likely said that the PIF was the original version, but in terms of its existence, this might be a case of the Mandela effect. From 2007 to 2011, PBS Kids aired the CGI animated educational series, Word World. The show teaches kids words by using animals whose bodies resemble the letters that spell out the name of their species, as well as other random objects like planes that are constructed using the letters that spell out that word. The show is based on the books of the same name. There was some concept art created in 2005 when the show was first being developed, with the characters designed in 2D animation rather than CG as in the final show, raising the possibility that an early test pilot was made using 2D animation. But this was later debunked. The only information about the test pilot comes from an article in Animation Magazine, which also mentions that they were experimenting with live action. The pilot was finally found on May 15, 2022, and featured CGI animation, but with different character designs compared to the final show. Charles M. Schulz's Peanuts comic strip served as the inspiration for the Halloween special It's the Great Pumpkin, which debuted on CBS on October 27, 1996. In the story, Linus Van Pelt expresses his faith in the Great Pumpkin by spending Halloween night sitting in a pumpkin patch and watching for the Great Pumpkin to emerge from the patch while the other children trick-or-treat and attend a Halloween party. The Halloween-themed special has earned a reputation as a classic, and Vince Guaraldi's music has received praise as well. However, unlike the original music recordings for A Charlie Brown Christmas and other specials, the original recordings for The Great Pumpkin had been lost for years. It's the Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown soundtrack was presumably never before released digitally or on CD when Kraft Records, the reissue division of Concord Music, released what they called a soundtrack album featuring songs from the soundtrack on October 5th, 2018. One drawback of this album is that it contains sound effects from the special within the songs, such as in the special's version of Linus and Lucy, when Linus throws an apple in the trash and when he rolls the pumpkin back toward his and Lucy's house. And blowing sounds can be heard during the song that plays when Snoopy blows a leaf into Charlie Brown's pile of leaves. However, Breathless, the song that plays when Snoopy imagines himself as a World War I flying ace crawling through the battlefield, received the worst treatment on the album. The song itself is overshadowed by the numerous sirens, gunshots, and other sound effects. The fact that Breathless was one of the songs from the special that got the most fan requests only made the situation more unfair. The album's sound quality has noticeably deteriorated as well, which is another problem. The music has a lot of hisses, sound changes, and harshness. Additionally, the tracks are all mono rather than stereo. The fact that the songs were released exactly as they sounded in the specials is one of the biggest issues with Kraft's original release of the soundtrack. The majority of the songs are brief cues that last between 20 and 30 seconds. Many of them also end abruptly or change abruptly. Then finally, around 4 years later on June 15th, 2022, the Great Pumpkin session tapes are discovered in boxes marked Big Pumpkin Charlie Brown in the Lee Mendelsohn Film Productions archives. Then, a couple months later on August 26, 2022, Kraft released a remastered and expanded definitive edition of the soundtrack, which contains the entire soundtrack as well as different takes from the recording sessions.